Here's a question that has started more arguments than almost any other. Who has it harder in a relationship, the man or the woman? Ask a guy, he'll list 10 things you've never considered. Ask a girl, she'll list 20. And the truth? Both of them are right. Because being in a relationship today isn't what it was 20 years ago. The rules changed, the expectations doubled, and nobody handed anyone a manual. So today we're putting both sides on the table. Honestly, fairly, and without picking a winner. Because by the end of this, you might just understand your partner in a way you never have before. Let's start with the man. From the moment a boy steps into adulthood, society hands him an invisible job description. Provide, protect, lead. Don't cry, don't complain, don't show weakness. And on top of that, be emotionally available, romantic, attentive, ambitious, and funny. He's expected to be the rock, even when he's drowning. He's told to open up, but the moment he does, he risks being seen as less of a man. That contradiction lives in his chest every single day. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's heavy, and most men carry it without ever telling a soul. Now flip the coin. Being the woman in a relationship comes with its own invisible weight, and a lot of it nobody sees. She's expected to be emotionally intelligent for two people. She tracks the birthdays, the moods, the unspoken tension in the room. She's the planner, the peacekeeper, the one who notices when something feels off before anyone says a word. On top of that, she's expected to look good, stay calm, be supportive, and somehow not lose herself in the process. Society tells her to be soft but strong, independent but devoted, ambitious but nurturing. That's not a personality. That's a full-time performance. Let's talk about money, because this is where things get spicy. Even in 2024, most men still feel an enormous pressure to be the provider. Doesn't matter if his partner makes more. Doesn't matter if bills are split 50-50. There's a voice in his head whispering, you should be doing more. And if he can't provide the way he wants to, he feels like he's failing as a man. That shame is real. It eats at him quietly. He won't always say it out loud, but it shows up in his stress, his silence, and the long nights he spends staring at his bank account instead of sleeping. But here's the part nobody talks about. Women feel financial pressure too, just differently. She's expected to contribute, build her own career, stay independent, and somehow still be okay if her partner earns less. She's judged if she relies on him, and judged if she doesn't. If she's a stay-at-home partner, people whisper. If she's the breadwinner, people whisper louder. And then there's the cost of simply existing as a woman. Skincare, hair, clothes. The unspoken expectation to always look put together. Nobody adds that up, but she does, every single month. Now let's get into emotional labor, and trust me, this one's deep. The woman is usually the emotional manager of the relationship. She's the one who says, hey, we should talk. She's the one who initiates the hard conversations, who keeps the emotional connection alive, who notices when things start to drift. That sounds like a strength, and it is, but it's also exhausting. Imagine being the therapist, the planner, and the partner all at once. Imagine carrying the weight of the relationship's emotional health while also being expected to stay light, fun, and attractive. That's not a partnership. That's overtime with no clock out. But men carry emotional weight too. They just carry it in silence. A man is often taught from childhood that his feelings aren't as important as his function. So when he's hurt, he buries it. When he's stressed, he hides it. When he's scared, he masks it as anger or distance. And then his partner says, why won't you open up? And the honest answer is, because no one ever taught him how. He wants to talk. He wants to be vulnerable. But every time he tries, a lifetime of conditioning whispers, don't. That silence isn't coldness, it's survival. Let's talk about appearance. Women face a constant, exhausting pressure to look a certain way. Social media made it 10 times worse. Every scroll is a comparison. Every photo is a reminder. She's expected to age gracefully but not look old. Be confident but humble. Be natural but glowing. And if her partner so much as glances at another woman, she feels it in her bones. That's not insecurity. That's pressure built up over years of being told her worth is tied to her looks. and no amount of love from a partner fully erases that voice. Men aren't immune to this either. Today, men are quietly facing their own appearance crisis. Hit the gym, get taller, get richer, get the jawline, get the hair. Every social media post screams that he's not enough. He's compared to influencers, athletes, fictional characters, and in dating he's told his looks don't matter until they do. So he hides his insecurities behind humor, behind confidence, behind silence. He won't tell his girlfriend that the comment she made about another guy's height stayed with him for a week, but it did. Men feel. They just feel quietly. Now let's talk about the social pressure. Women face judgment from family, friends, even strangers about who they date, how they dress, when they should marry, and when they should have kids. Her timeline isn't hers. It belongs to everyone else. Aunties have opinions. Coworkers have opinions. Instagram has opinions. She's pulled in 10 directions and expected to smile through it. And if she chooses herself over the timeline, she's labeled selfish, picky, or difficult. That kind of judgment doesn't just sting. It shapes the choices she makes, sometimes against what her own heart actually wants. Men face social pressure too, but it's quieter. Where's the ring? Why aren't you married yet? Why isn't your career further along? Why doesn't she have a bigger house? Why don't you take her on better trips? Every comparison chips away at him. And unlike women, men rarely have a support system to vent to. His friends don't ask how he's feeling. His family expects him to handle it. So he stuffs it down, smiles at the dinner table, and pretends everything is under control. Meanwhile, on the inside, he's a pressure cooker with no release valve. Here's something most couples never talk about: the mental load. The woman often carries the invisible to-do list of the entire relationship. Groceries, gifts, plans, family events, the dog's vet appointment, the broken lamp, the friend's birthday. It never ends. And even when her partner helps, she's usually the one delegating. That's not partnership, that's management. Meanwhile, the man often feels like no matter what he does, it's never enough. He cleaned the kitchen, but missed the counter. He bought flowers, but the wrong kind. The mental load on one side, the feeling of never measuring up on the other, both are real and both are exhausting. Let's talk about intimacy, because this is where so many couples silently struggle. Women are expected to be desired, but not too eager. Available, but not too available. Confident in her body, even when the world makes it hard to be. Men are expected to always want it, always initiate, always perform. If he's not in the mood, something must be wrong with him. If she's not in the mood, he assumes something's wrong with him too. Intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, and deeply tied to how safe you feel with someone. And both partners often feel the pressure to perform a version of themselves that isn't real. So who actually has it harder? Here's the honest answer: neither. Both sides carry weight. Both sides face invisible expectations. The man's struggles aren't louder, and the woman's struggles aren't softer. They're just different. The problem isn't that one has it worse. The problem is that we rarely talk about either. We compete instead of communicating. We compare instead of connecting. And in doing that, we miss the chance to actually support the person right in front of us. Because being in a relationship was never meant to be a contest. It was meant to be a team. So here's the takeaway. The next time your partner seems distant, tired, snappy, or quiet, pause before reacting. Ask yourself what invisible weight they might be carrying that day. And then ask them, not to fix it, just to understand. Because the strongest relationships aren't the ones where nobody struggles. They're the ones where both people feel safe enough to admit when they're struggling. If this video made you think about your relationship differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more honest takes like this one. And remember, you're not in this alone. Neither is your partner. You're in it together, always.